Welcome, everyone, to the Bamboo Brief. We're jumping right into the pre-market action to figure out what's really moving the needle before that opening bell even rings. You know, every single one of those flashing numbers on your screen, it's telling a story. And our job here is to translate all that, well, chaos into clear insights you can actually use. So let's decode what's happening right now. I mean, have you ever seen that? You wake up, check the market, and one stock is up 3%, while another one has just cratered 14%. It can feel completely random, right? But here's the thing, it's not. There are some really powerful forces at play here, and today we're going to break down exactly what they are. Okay, first up, let's talk about one of the biggest market movers out there, news coming straight out of Washington. A single headline about government policy can create massive ripples, and we saw a perfect example of that today. So check this out. We've got Teva Pharmaceutical. Now, these guys are a huge player in generic drugs, and the word on the street is that their products might get a pass. They might be exempted from some big upcoming tariffs. Now, if you're an investor, what do you hear? You hear lower costs, you hear bigger profits. And boom, there it is, a 3% pop, just like that in pre-market trading. This is the market reacting in real time. It's literally translating a policy headline directly into dollars and cents. But, it's not just the big external forces like government policy that can shake things up. Nope. Sometimes the biggest stories come from inside the companies themselves. It's that time of the quarter, time for their report card, the earnings report. And when a company gets a grade that's way better than anyone expected, oh yeah, that gets a ton of attention. Case in point, Delta Airlines. I mean, after the crazy couple of years the whole industry has had, all eyes were on their performance. And let me tell you, they absolutely delivered. So here's the breakdown. This is what got investors so excited. Wall Street, they were forecasting earnings of about $1.53 per share. What did Delta do? They came in at $1.71. And on revenue, same story. They didn't just meet expectations, they, forgive the pun, flew right past them. This is what we call a classic earnings beat, and it's exactly the kind of surprise investors just love to see. And the market's reaction? It was instant, a 6% surge in the stock price. I mean, that's like getting an A+ on your report card, and the grade is written in big, bright green. And this pattern isn't just limited to airlines. Let's head over to the consumer goods world, where PepsiCo just served up its own sweet surprise for its investors. So it's a really similar story to Delta's. PepsiCo beat expectations for both revenue, that's what we call the top line, and profit, the bottom line. Now, when a company beats on both fronts like that, it shows they're not just growing, they're growing profitably. And that, my friends, is a sign of a very, very healthy business. And for that, they got a solid 1% gain. Okay, so it's not the huge 6% jump that Delta saw, but it's another super clear signal. A positive earnings surprise almost always gets a thumbs up from the market. All right, so we've covered government policy and we've covered a company's own report card. But there are other outside forces that can give a stock a little push or a big shove. We're talking about things like what a key analyst thinks or a sudden change in the price of raw materials. So for example, you've got this company Oklo. It climbed almost 3% after an analyst firm, Canaccord Genuity, basically said, "We think you should buy this stock." That's a huge stamp of approval. And at the same time, you've got copper miners like Freeport-McMoRan just shooting up. Why? Because the price of copper itself hit a multi-month high. It's pretty simple, right? When the stuff they sell is suddenly worth more, so are they. But let's be real, the biggest moves, they often come from the biggest surprises. And Ferrari just gave us an absolute masterclass in how a major change in strategy can send shockwaves through the entire market. Okay, so take a look at this. This is Ferrari's new game plan for the year 2030. 40% classic gas-powered engines, 40% hybrid, and just 20% fully electric. Now, on the surface, that might sound fine, right? But as they say, the devil is in the details. And here's why this is a total bombshell. Their old plan, the one investors were banking on, was aiming for a full 40% of sales from EVs. This new plan, it literally cuts that target in half. Now, in a market that is betting everything on an electric future, this is a massive, massive reversal. And the reaction? A jaw-dropping 14% drop. The market didn't just dislike this news, it absolutely punished it.
What this tells you is that investors had priced in a much more aggressive, all-in-on electric future for Ferrari, and this strategic U-turn, it was a huge disappointment.
Okay, wow. So, policy shifts, earnings surprises, major strategic U-turns, we've seen what makes the market tick. So the big question is, what do you do with this? How do you turn all these headlines into smarter decisions for yourself?
It really boils down to a pretty simple framework. First, always ask why a stock is moving. Don't just look at the percentage, find the story behind it. Second, figure out what's driving it. Is it something external, like a new policy, or something internal, like their earnings report or a change in strategy? And then third, connect that knowledge back to your own goals. Just understanding the why is the first huge step to making a really informed move.
And hey, if you're feeling ready to start making some of your own informed moves, the Bamboo investment app is a fantastic place to start. It's really designed to help you act on this kind of stuff. I've popped my referral code down in the description, and I've got to say, using it is a huge way to support the channel, and I really appreciate it. And if this breakdown helped you make a little more sense of the market today, could you do me a quick favor? Hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And I'd really love to know what stock moves caught your eye this morning. Let me know in the comments below. Let's talk about it.
Just remember, every single stock move is telling you a story. The real key is just learning how to read them. Thanks so much for watching the Bamboo Brief. Happy investing, and I'll see you in the next one.